Hey, how's it going? My name is Wes. Welcome back to another lesson. In today's lesson, we are going to go over another verb. And the verb that we will discuss in today's lesson is the verb ser, which means to be in Spanish. So as always, we start with a blank table. So you can pause the video right now if you want to make a copy of this table and then press play again once you're ready. Alright, so in today's lesson, we are going to go over the verb to be, which in Spanish is ser. And ser is actually not the only verb that means to be in Spanish. In Spanish, there's actually two different verbs that mean to be. And today we're going to look at the first one, ser, and in the next lesson we're going to go over the other one, which is estar. So today, ser, el verbo ser, to be. Alright, so let's start with the first conjugation. Now, what's important to know is that the verb ser is used when we talk about characteristics. So as an example, when we say I am a man, that's a characteristic. Or when we say he is smart, that's also a characteristic of someone. Or another example would be you are from Europe, which is also a characteristic of a person. So in all of these cases, we use the verb ser. Now, don't worry for now, we're going to dive further into this. So let's just start with the first conjugation. I am, in Spanish, is
Yo soy.
So let's add this one to our list first.
Yo soy.
So soy is the conjugation of the verb ser. And as you can see, it's quite irregular already because ser, S-E-R, changes to S-O-Y. Alright, so as an example, I am a man.
Yo, un hombre. Yo, un hombre.
And when we say I am a man, we are talking about a characteristic. And so in this case, we use the verb ser, or the conjugation of the verb ser, in the I form. So yo, un hombre, which of course becomes
Yo soy un hombre. Yo soy un hombre.
Alright, the next conjugation is tú. You are.
Tú eres. Tú eres.
And as you can see, the conjugation changes a lot. So we go from soy in the I form to eres in the you form. So this verb is very irregular. Alright, then as an example, you are a woman, again, characteristic, is
Tú, una mujer. Tú eres una mujer.
you are a woman.
Tú eres una mujer.
Alright, then the he, she, and you formal conjugations. So he, she is, or you formal are, which is
Él, ella, usted, es. Él, ella, usted, es.
So let's write this down to our notes as well. Again, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video, take your notes, and then press play again once you're ready. And then for the example sentence, let's again talk about characteristics. So, is he smart? Or he is smart, but this time we say it as a question. So, is he smart?
Él, inteligente. Él es inteligente.
Is he smart?
Él es inteligente.
Or, if you want to say she is smart, we say
Ella es inteligente. Ella es inteligente.
So again, as we saw before, in English we say is she smart if we want to ask a question, and we say she is smart if we are talking about a statement. So in English we change the word order in order to form a question or statement. In Spanish we don't do this. In Spanish we simply just add question marks at the beginning and at the end. And we use a different tone of voice. So is she smart? So we ask it in more of like a questionable way. Alright, and then we also had you formal. So usted es muy inteligente.
Usted es muy inteligente. Usted es muy inteligente.
And inteligente is actually quite similar to the British English word, which is intelligent. And in Spanish, you will see that a lot of words are quite similar to more like British English. And in American English, we tend to flip these words or change them a bit to make them more American. So intelligent would become smart. And so if you pay close attention, usually just by looking at the word and thinking about what British English word would match that word, you can kind of figure out what that word might mean. And that's a very helpful trick we can use because now, even though you don't know a lot of vocabulary yet, you can already figure out what a lot of words mean. Alright, so the next conjugation is the we form. So we are, which is
Nosotros, nosotras somos. Nosotros somos. Nosotras somos.
So again, we can add this to our list. And then as an example, we have the sentence, we are students. So again, characteristic here.
Nosotros, estudiantes. Nosotros somos estudiantes. Nosotros somos estudiantes.
And again, with all of these example sentences, I recommend to repeat everything that you hear out loud and to practice the pronunciation yourself also, because pronunciation is one of the most underlooked parts of learning Spanish. And I want you to become a master in Spanish, so please make sure to also practice your pronunciation. And then of course, we also have we are students, but then when we talk about we talk about an all-female group, which is
Nosotras somos estudiantes.
So somos does not change into somas, so the verb doesn't change, but nosotros changes into nosotras. So it's not that if we change nosotros into nosotras, we also need to change the verb. The verb never changes, so it's only the subject pronoun. So we changes from os to as. Alright, and then vosotros or vosotras, which is you, which is used in Spain mostly.
Vosotros, vosotras sois.
You are. So you are from Europe. Again, you are from Europe means characteristic because you're talking about where someone is from, so that's a characteristic.
Vosotros de Europa. Vosotros sois de Europa. Vosotros sois de Europa.
And then we also have the you form, but then feminine. And actually, let's turn this into a question. So how would you say, are you from Europe? And then referring to an all-female group.
¿Vosotras sois de Europa?
Again, nothing changes in a sentence. The only thing we do is we add these question marks and we use a different tone of voice. So,
¿Vosotras sois de Europa?
Are you from Europe? Alright, cool. And then the last two conjugations. Again, you, but then ustedes, which is formal you, multiple people in Spain, or you guys in Latin America, which is
Ustedes son. Ustedes son.
Alright, so you are grandparents becomes
Ustedes abuelos.
and abuelo without the S actually means granddad. And abuela with an A at the end without the S means grandma. Alright, so ustedes, abuelos, you are grandparents, of course becomes
Ustedes son abuelos.
you are grandparents. And again, because grandparents is a characteristic, I keep saying it, but it's very important that you understand this. We use the verb ser. If it's not a characteristic but a state, which we will get to in the next lesson, then we use the verb estar, which is the next verb that we will learn. But for now, don't worry about this. Just know anytime we use characteristics, so I'm a granddad, I am from Europe, I am a man, we use the verb ser, so the verb that we are learning today. Alright, and then the last conjugation, which is they are.
Ellos, ellas son. Ellos, ellas son.
So now we can complete our list. Again, ustedes and ellos, ellas have the same conjugation. They always have. So ellos, simpáticos, they are friendly. Simpático means friendly. Simpático, with the accent on the A. So not simpático, but simpático.
Ellos simpáticos.
And this becomes
Ellos son simpáticos.
they are friendly. Or
Ellas son simpáticas. Ellas son simpáticas.
and here simpáticos changes to simpáticas because we're talking about a feminine group of people. So we must also change this noun, simpáticos, into simpáticas. And this is tricky when you start out learning Spanish, and you will most likely make faults in the beginning with this. And even if you're more advanced, you will still not get this quite right sometimes. But that's part of the learning journey. So the best thing you can do is just to keep practicing, and eventually you'll get the grips of it. Alright, so again, just to make sure that you completely understand the verb ser, which means to be in English. So we use the verb ser when we talk about characteristics. And that is because we have two different verbs to say to be in Spanish. We have ser, which is this verb that we learned today. And then in the next lesson, we will learn estar. So we use ser for characteristics, and we use estar for states. And as you can tell, the verb ser is quite irregular because it changes from soy to eres to es and then back to somos and sois and so on. So it might be a bit more of a difficult verb to learn, but it's actually one of the most important verbs to learn and also one of the most used, I think, in the Spanish language. Alright, and then before we end this lesson, again, I have some practice sentences for you so that you can practice the different conjugations of this verb. So if you want to practice, simply pause the video right now, and then once you're ready, press play again and see if you got everything right. Alright, and these are the answers. Alright, and that's it for this lesson, the verb ser, to be in Spanish. In the next lesson, we are going to go over the verb estar, which also means to be in English. Before you move on to the next lesson, I recommend you to first study these conjugations a bit. As always, you can grab a copy of today's lesson as a PDF file on my website, which is SpanishWithWes.com. And if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Alright, that's it for this one. I hope to see you in the next one. For now, I want to say thank you and see you next time. Adios.